the mistake a lot of marketers make is they reject marketing because they think I wouldn't respond to that. And it doesn't matter whether you would respond to the marketing or not. It's whether the people you're talking to would.
So step number 2 is understand that you are not your customer. You are not your customer, okay? Because with our people, we tell them that everything they do should be outrageous, okay? Even their customers, okay? They have to think about that. They're not a customer. They're somebody that owns a business, okay? So you got to make sure that that's outrageous, works for that. Rob, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Now that you're a CPA, you can tell me more about that.
Yeah. Do you trust him more now, or no?
No.
I think the mistake a lot of marketers make is they reject marketing because they think I wouldn't respond to that. And it doesn't matter whether you would respond to the marketing or not. It's whether the people you're talking to would. We've got a member of our mastermind, Ken Hardison. And at one point he was running a personal injury law firm. And if he had put out marketing that was written in the kind of language that lawyers would respond to, most of the people he was trying to sell to wouldn't even be able to understand it, let alone respond to it. So he had to write stuff that was talking to them in the world that they live in and talk about the issues they understand and in a language that they understand. He couldn't write it like a legal document. But most lawyers would have looked at it and said, well, this isn't highbrow enough for me. But, he built a multi-million-dollar law firm out of it. And he now teaches other lawyers how to do the same thing. Just by writing marketing campaigns to the person he's actually targeting and not to himself.
And that really, because it's interesting, because these are a lot of fundamentals of like really knowing your customer and avatar and whatnot. And this is exactly what we're doing right now for our podcast and our business, because it's just evolved over the years. So I'm sure even with this, the marketing step number 2, you got to remember, hey, you can enjoy what you're doing or put out something you think you want into the world, but you better understand that customer that's going to give you money.
Right.
Because they're carrying you forward.
Right.
Yeah.
And the first time I met Ken, actually he was a member of me at Glazer Kennedy. And that's where he first realizing to himself that to build that much bigger business, he has to build a larger business. Okay. So my point is wherever you're at, and how old you are, okay? You always think of ways to make things look outrageous so that more people will buy from you on an ongoing basis. Let's go to step number 3, which is one of the one I really like. And the reason why I really like it, because I created it, okay? Is train your brain to look for ideas in obvious places, okay? So there's a lot of times you should always be looking around what's going on, okay? And then once you see that, you say to yourself, gee, this is a really smart thing we should be doing in our business. So you're looking for obvious places. Now, of course, my old CPA here, Rob, he could actually tell you more about that.
Yeah, I mean, it can sometimes be as simple as looking at the campaign you're already running and thinking, what can we tweak to make it better? So quite often split testing is a really easy way to improve a campaign, and people don't remember that. Earlier on today, I was talking to one of our clients, and he was saying, I'm creating a webinar. Do you think I should run it live or should I automate it? And I said, well, why don't you do, and I'll give Russell Brunson full credit for this because it's him that I heard this from, is Russell runs the webinar as many times as possible until he knows it's working as well as it can be, and then he automates that. And it's the same thing with all of our campaigns. Do different versions of the sales letter and see which one works better. Record a few versions of the video, try it, record a new version, see what works better, try it again, and just keep tweaking everything. And that's just an obvious place that most people forget to look even.
Yeah. And that goes deep to like the emails. I know we automate a bunch of our emails in sequences, but why would you want to sequence or automate stuff before you test with the email if they actually function right?
Yeah.
Right. And just a little more clarity before we'll get to step number 4 about this is because when Rob and I put together these 2 books, okay, this is what, when we send to people to send over the information so we can turn it into campaigns in the book, okay? We looked at all the information they did, but at the end, we asked them the results that their campaign creates, okay? Because nobody wants to see a campaign if it's not getting good results, okay? So they had to tell us the results that they were getting, because we didn't want anybody to see a campaign in our book that it's horrible, okay? So one of the things we ask for is the results, okay? So let's move on to step number 3, is train your brain to look for ideas in unobvious places, okay?
Yeah, this is step number 4, right?
Yeah.
This is step number 4. And I will tell you, before Rob gives you a couple of information about it, one thing I will tell you, the best way I used to do it, and I still do it, okay? When my bride and I go away, okay, and we go all kinds of countries and stuff like that, and you can all see unusual things when you away. And the thing I always do, I take a picture right then and there. And I start taking pictures, and I figure out how to use that in my own business. But with that said, my old CPA here will tell you about some of the other.
I'm beginning to regret. There's a reason I haven't told you in 5 years that I used to.
Oh, wow. 5 years. I'd love that.
Got a new nickname now, the old CPA.
Matt, you weren't a CPA, were you, Matt?
I was never a CPA,
But
no.
you did,
Thank God.
finance, so. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, this is how you create campaigns that your competitors won't even think about. Is looking at what's going on in the world and just noticing different stuff. I mentioned before that one of our mastermind members, at our mastermind meetings, we have a session that we call What's Working Now. And at one of those sessions earlier this year, I walked through a campaign that was being run by a company that sells music libraries to media companies. So they'll sell music libraries to TV stations and things like that. None of our members are in that industry, but just the way that this company had laid out their whole campaign there was a wonderful offer at the start of it, which was you can have it free later or buy now. And so they were kind of selling a low entry tripwire type product, but they were relying on the fact that some people, they'll take the free offer and they'll wait a couple of weeks, and some people will just go, you know what, I need to buy it right now. And the campaign in their industry was so different that for about 3 months, nobody could talk about anything else. And so I just basically presented this campaign to the mastermind members and said, look, here it is, step by step, this is what they're doing. And as it was full of little nuggets that they'd never have thought of, and their competitors wouldn't have seen any of it either. And so it's as simple as just looking around you and saying, what are people doing that I wouldn't normally pay attention to? And like Bill said, going on vacation and sending stuff back from vacation, and you see something unusual that most people won't have seen, and you take a photograph and you maybe shoot a video there and things like that.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect example. Is just take pictures of new perspectives, new ways of looking at things. And yeah, traveling is the easiest way to do that.